So we love doing what we do. I love it. I live this. This is everything I wanted, and this is why I persist in an industry that is often plagued with all sorts of traps on every corner. And as much as we are doing well and selling lots of cars and getting cool new stock in, and it's business as usual, and we're successful at what we do occasionally also fall victim to the likes of unsavory characters in the industry. And we're currently dealing with a bit of a story that's kind of keeping me a bit on edge and a bit preoccupied and not fully focused on enjoying myself and doing what I do. And in short, it goes like this. About 6 months ago, we bought a Range Rover Sport SVR into inventory, and we received the original notice document, all the documents supporting the transaction from the seller, who was assisted with an intermediary between him and myself. The intermediary is an agent, a trader that we've done maybe 25, 30 deals with over the last 2 years. So someone we trust, someone that we have good rapport with. Now, this Range Rover SVR, we agreed on the numbers. The car was in Joburg. My trader checked the car out, made sure everything was cool. We received the notice paper. He said, cool, Art, you can go ahead and pay. Car's here, spare keys are here, books are here, the notice is here. It's the original, not a duplicate, all of that, because there's a lot of that duplicate notice stuff going on in the industry up in Johannesburg. A lot of fraud, a lot of corruption, and we always ensure and try to trade as carefully as possible. We do buy inventory, so we use our money to get stock. We don't consign, really. It's not our business. So this all went well. Car arrived. We did a bit of recon, and within about a month, we sold the car to an end user. He financed it with one of the banks, and that was it. He was happy. He loves the car. He was stoked with the service he received, and the deal was done. Up until about 3 weeks ago, we've heard nothing. But 3 weeks ago, we got a call from that client, and he said, Art, I received a phone call from an attorney who is apparently representing the previous owner of the car, who claims to still be the true owner of the car, and they are essentially demanding that I give their car back. I go, what? How can that be? I mean, we had all our ducks in a row. We have a chain of invoices and proof of payments confirming ownership of the car. The bank financed it. I mean, the bank, in order to finance a car with the bank does a number of checks for hire purchase and theft and all of these things. So it passed all of this. There was no issue. So we really didn't expect to hear this, but we didn't, we got a little bit alarmed by it, but didn't think too much of it, because seriously, how do you verify, or how do you validate the statement with all the documentation that we have? Then last Friday, we actually received a letter from the attorneys representing said previous owner, asking that, or rather demanding that they want the vehicle in 3 days from receipt of this letter. I messaged my client to say, looks like you're giving your car back, in a sort of sarcastic way, or in a facetious way. And, we had a little bit of a laugh. Our client is on our side. He doesn't feel that this is in any way fair or plausible. So we wait a little bit more up until this week. This week, things started to escalate, and I started to dig around this situation a bit more. I spoke to a few of my friends in Joburg, partner dealers of ours, and they told me that this guy, the guy that our trader obtained the car for us from, had given us all the legitimate documents, but he has some kind of in with somebody at the traffic department that is fraudulently giving out registration papers, making them look like original certificates, not even duplicates. So we look at it, we know how to look at a notice, we can see if it's an original or a dupe. And he's taken like half of the Joburg dealers for a ride. There's people upset. we're trying to get hold of this guy. I'm calling my trader. He's trying to get hold of him. And eventually it comes to light that the guy's in jail. Guy's in prison. There's 8 pending cases against him. And every time he tries to go to court for his bail hearing, the lights are off in the court 3 times in a row. I mean, that's bizarre, right? Furthermore, we're digging in the story. It turns out that his investor is apparently somehow manipulating the system and keeping the lights in the court off. I mean, this is getting really juicy now. And I can't help but feel a little bit awkward in front of my client, you know, who spent his well-earned money with me to buy a really nice car. And just like I spent my very hard-earned money to acquire the unit into my inventory. So we're all a little bit on edge here at the moment, waiting to see how the story pans out. But apparently it hasn't panned out very well for some of the dealers up in Johannesburg, where the police had come to seize the unit or seize the car from the owner, who is the end user of the car, forcing the dealer that sold the car to that owner to refund him his money. But then if we refund our client the 800,000 Rand for this Range Rover, and the Range Rover gets seized by the SAPS, where does that actually leave me? Well, in an 800,000 Rand hole that I'm gonna have to be chucking money in to fill up for the next, I don't know, year. This is not a nice story. But this is something that is and does happen in the industry. And even guys like us who are careful and trade lightly and ensure that everything is done in the correct way. And if it feels a little bit off, we walk. Everything was fine this time. Turns out it's not. So, a bit of a mood damper on this end. But we've obviously spoken to, luckily we've sold many cars to many lawyers, and so we have many attorneys as clients who would be willing to help us for, as they say, pro bono, or maybe at least a reduced fee. But very interesting story, but one that hasn't come to finality yet, and I really hope that it does end favorably for us. Otherwise, well, I've taken a very hot bath, a bath that I've never taken before. I've lost 200,000 Rand on a car once, but 800 grand? Good grief. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna make me bleed.